Welcome back, everyone, to the Abundance Formula podcast. Thank you all so much for the birthday wishes. You guys showered me with love over the weekend. It was amazing. Thank you so much. I got so many messages from social media to text to phone calls to in person. So that was so wonderful. Thank you all so much. So I had a great weekend, starting to come down with a little bit of a cold. My family's all had it. I was hoping maybe I could dodge it, but am starting to get the feels now at this point. Last night, my throat was sore and it's starting to hit my nose a little today. But honestly, I don't think it's going to be too bad. So fingers crossed, lots of water. But I had a great birthday weekend. So today's solo episode, I'm really excited about because I heard this incredible story and it just had so many takeaways that I thought were perfect for a solo episode. And this story, it's going to share a simple question that can clarify your next move. And I think that's something that holds so many people back is you feel stuck and you don't know what is going to move the needle forward and for a variety of reasons. So we'll dive into that in a minute. But so I'm going to tell you a story, and then after that story, I'm going to tell you several of the takeaways that I had from this story, and hopefully it will be beneficial to you all as well. So in 1998, the British men's eight, that's what they call them, the men's eight. It's a rowing team, and they were seriously underperforming. They'd spent years and years losing. They had not won Olympic gold in the men's eight since 1912. So that's literally an 88-year drought, you guys, of losing. All right. So 88-year drought. And at the 1998 World Championships, they finished seventh yet again. So they had 2 years until the 2000 Sydney Olympics. And they realized something important collectively as a team is that simply working harder was not going to be enough. They were working really hard. So they had to figure out something different. So instead, they decided that they needed to make better decisions about where their time, their energy, their attention, and their effort was going to go. So they created one filtering question. And I want this question to be what you take away from this podcast episode. And we're going to break it down. They've created one filtering question. What will make the boat go faster? Will it make the boat go faster? And they began running essentially everything through this filter: training decisions, conversations, behaviors, recovery, how they spent their free time. Everything went through the filter of will it make the boat go faster? They used this question to challenge their decisions and their actions against whether they were actually contributing to the boat going faster. So, for example, if someone was invited to a late night party before training, they asked themselves, will it make the boat go faster? If no, then you don't go. So it went much deeper than just avoiding parties. The question allowed them to distinguish truly between being busy / working hard and doing specific things that actually move them towards their goal. And also, instead of there being 8 athletes making hundreds of different individual judgment calls, everyone is essentially playing the same game now. So their conditioning improved, their training improved, their teamwork improved, their decisions were more focused, and unnecessary things started falling away. And within 2 years, the team that had been consistently finishing around 7th or 8th in the world won Olympic gold at Sydney in the year 2000. There's this really cool book called Will It Make the Boat Go Faster? Written by Ben Hunt Davis, who was one of the people on this team. He was on the team for the years that they'd continually lost, and then he was on this team as they switched their vision through this filtering question and won. And he's written this really great book called Will It Make the Boat Go Faster? And basically the premise is essentially how they went from losing repeatedly to Olympic champions, ruthlessly focusing on the things that actually contributed to their collective goal. So after hearing this story, I love this story. After hearing this story, there was just several big takeaways that I wanted to kind of put in one place here for this solo episode, because I think this question, will it make the boat go faster, gives so many different values for our lives, whether it's concepts to consider around clarity creation or how to make moves that actually matter. So the first thing I wanted to present to you guys is you don't have to know exactly where the boat is going to go to make progress. So you could hear the story and possibly think, well, that's great for them. They already knew what they wanted. They wanted Olympic gold. I don't even know exactly what I want yet. But I don't think that's actually the takeaway. I don't think you need that level of clarity to get moving, right? Maybe your boat right now is simply, I want work that feels more meaningful. I want to become healthier. I want to build something of my own. I want more peace in my life. I feel like I'm supposed to teach or to create or to lead or to write or to speak, whatever that is. But I just don't know exactly what it's going to become yet or the details of how that'll niche down. That's enough to start. Now you have enough direction to look at what's directly in front of you and ask yourself, does this make the boat go faster? Does this opportunity move me toward that thing? Does this conversation, does taking this class, does making that phone call, does trying this idea on, does another 3 months of researching and studying and learning grow me towards thought leadership in that direction? That's where this question starts creating clarity instead of requiring you to already have it. You just need enough direction of where you think you might want to go to start asking yourself this question. Does it make the boat go faster? If I want more peace in my life, does this relationship, this friendship with this person in front of me right now, is this leading me towards more peace? Is it making my boat go more fast in that direction? Yes or no? It gives you the clarity. It gives you a decision-making tool for right or left, going down the path that you know you're supposed to go. You don't have to know the whole path yet. You just know a direction and you need to get moving. And the decisions that lead you further in clarity down the path is asking this question: does it make the boat go faster? Whatever your boat may metaphorically be. The next point I think is valuable is don't, and this is gonna hit a touch point, hit a nerve for some people. Don't let clarity become a form of hiding. Okay. A lot of people don't move forward with the righteous goal of wanting to have real, true, full on clarity. But this can easily become a version of procrastination that can seem responsible, but it can default into a form of hiding. And it's great that we care about wanting to study, be prepared, have the best plan, have the best layout, make sure we're fully qualified. None of those things are bad, but we do in our soul know, and we have hit that tipping point of, does this make my boat actually go faster now? Like, when you've reached the point where you can only know as much as you can know, and then you need to start making moves to know more. So eventually you have to ask yourself, is this still making the boat go faster? And you'll know if it's not. So at one point, planning does make the boat go faster, but eventually executing does. At one point, learning how to teach will make the boat go faster, but eventually you have to teach somebody, and that's what moves the boat faster. At one point, researching the business plan, and that'll make the boat go faster, but then eventually you have to ask someone to pay you for the service that you've researched and studied to become so prepared to serve and give. The same behavior can be preparation in one season and then self-protection in the next, and fear-based living in the next. At some point, you've got to take action. And we know nobody can make that decision for you. Only you can. And in your spirit, in your soul, in your gut, when what you're doing, this journey and seeking for clarity, is actually not moving you forward anymore. It did up to a point, and you have reached that point, and now it's time for the next leap. So, leading me into my next point. Maybe what you're actually searching for at this point is not clarity. You're not missing clarity anymore, but what you're searching for is certainty. So, because if you sit with this question long enough, will it make the boat go faster? You're going to know the answer to that. You're going to know the email that you need to send. You're going to know the conversation you need to have. You're going to know that you've studied long enough and it's time. So maybe what you're waiting for isn't actually clarity, it's actually certainty. And we are never promised that. We are never guaranteed that. And if you want to live an abundant life, which you want that if you're here listening today to the Abundance Formula podcast, certainty is not part of that formula. In fact, uncertainty and faith leaps are absolutely part of that formula. Rinse and repeat. Get used to that process. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. So are you waiting for certainty, not actually still truly needing clarity? Those are different. Clarity says, I believe this is the right next move. Certainty says, I need to know what happens if I make this move. And life really gives us that second choice. So the next thing I want to bring up from this story is movement produces information. Movement produces further clarity. We kind of touched on this earlier, but sometimes that next level clarity is data that you can only collect through action. You do something and it works. Great. That's information. You do something and it absolutely doesn't work. Great. That's information. You make another action and you realize, I absolutely hate this. Great. That's information. If you're paying attention, movement is never going to be wasted, right? So moving more of the path forward reveals to you more of the path. You cannot see the full path from the trailhead. You have to at some point walk the path for it to reveal more of the path and give you a better vantage point of what to do next. And if you even want to be on this path anymore, the only way you'll know is to get moving. So I thought that was something really important that a lot of people can get stuck in that part of the process of, again, seeking further clarity up to this point when really movement is the only thing that's going to get you additional information. So next, are you being busy versus actually moving the boat? This question can completely change how you see an ordinary Tuesday, you guys. Instead of asking, how much did I accomplish today? Ask yourself, did I make the boat go faster today? Because you can be extremely and extraordinarily busy and move barely anywhere, if at all. You can be paddling in circles, if you will, using this boat example. You can answer all the emails, do all the things on the to-do list, but by the end of the day, be exhausted and have not moved, but only gone in circles. Or you can do one uncomfortable thing that moves the boat, right? Or you can, that one courageous action actually moves the boat faster than 8 hours of comfortable supposed productivity, right? So that's something to consider. Are you being busy or are you actually moving the needle forward? And asking this question will help you know that. It's such a simple question. You can literally look at the things on your calendar and see what things you are doing that really aren't moving the boat. Okay. This is one of my next favorite points. Comparison. Your boat, not someone else's boat, not theirs. Okay, there's a reason I love this question. It doesn't ask how fast is everybody else's boat going. It asks, is mine going faster? That's a completely different way of measuring your life that is critical to abundant living. Someone else's boat may be miles ahead of you. They may have started 10 years earlier. They may have different resources that you don't have because they've been on this journey for however long. They may have different natural gifts than you. They may have a completely different destination in mind. It's their boat. You need to focus on your boat. None of that changes whether the decisions you're making is moving your boat faster. So keep this question in front of you this week, guys. It's so simple, but it really can encompass so many different aspects of abundant living that I thought it was so great because simplicity is so helpful to help us have the courage to move forward. We overcomplicate things a lot. And to live an extraordinary life, it's really just the people getting out there and living life, living it, not being afraid to live it, not feeling like you have to know all kind of stuff before you can get to living it. Get to living it. And again, and to live it well, ask yourself this question because it'll help you make better decisions. So, listen to this story again if you need to and ask yourself, are you somebody that truly does need a little more clarity? Use this question and it will get you there. Are you somebody that's accidentally found yourself hiding in the clarity journey and it's not really what the pursuit is about anymore and it's some courage you need to tap into at this point? Are you someone that really simply just needs a little more accountability to make yourself be productive, not just busy, and actually move the needle forward? This will help you. So no matter how much of the path you can see right now, more of the path will unfold as you get to walking. You don't have to have everything figured out. I want to give you affirmation of that. You just need enough direction to ask yourself, will it make the boat go faster and make your next move?